Welcome back to the deep dive. And I'm just going to be honest with you right out of the gate. Today's episode is going to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Uh-oh.
In fact, it might be the most uncomfortable conversation we've had in a long time.
That's one way to sell it. Tune in. We're going to make you squirm.
No, I'm serious. Usually we're here to, make you smarter or more efficient or better with your money. But today, we are looking at a stack of sources that basically says the way we are living our actual daily lives, the way I live my life,
Yeah.
is fundamentally broken.
It's broken, and it's breaking us.
We are diving into Find Your People by Jennie Allen. And look, on the surface, this looks like a nice book about friendship.
Right.
Maybe a guide to finding a BFF or, I don't know, how to host a dinner party. But once you actually get into the source material, it's not that at all. It's more like a manifesto against the modern world.
It really is. It's a complete indictment of Western independence. It argues that the very things we think make us successful, our privacy, our autonomy, our efficiency, are actually the things that are killing us.
So let's get into it. And we have to start where the book starts, which is not a happy place. It's not a coffee shop. It's not a brunch with the girls.
No, it's the floor of a closet.
Set the scene for us.
Yeah.
Because the irony here is just, it's thick.
Oh, it is. So picture Jennie Allen. She's a New York Times bestselling author. She runs this massive organization called IF Gathering.
It's huge. Yeah.
She has thousands of people who look up to her. She travels the world speaking. And she is in the middle of writing this specific book, a book about community, a book about how to be connected.
She's literally writing the manual on friendship.
Writing the manual, and it's just a random Tuesday or whatever, and she walks into her closet, and her legs just give out. She hits the floor. She can't breathe.
A panic attack.
A full-blown physiological meltdown. And she mentions in the notes that she hadn't had one of these in a decade. So this wasn't, a regular occurrence.
That's
She's
right.
lying there, cheek against the floorboards, just gasping for air.
So what triggered it? Was it the deadline? Was it the pressure of the book deal? I mean, I assume when you're writing a bestseller, the stress is high.
That's what you'd think. You'd think, oh, she's stressed about work. But she says while she was gasping for air, the narrative spiraling in her brain had nothing to do with her career.
Okay.
It was a single repeating sentence. I am all alone.
Wow.
She convinced herself in that moment that while she was busy being an expert and writing this book, her actual friends, her real-life people in Austin, Texas, had moved on.
Oh, man.
She was imagining them hanging out without her. She was imagining them building memories she wasn't part of. She was imagining that they were actually, relieved she wasn't there.
Okay, I have to pause there because that is the most relatable thing I have heard in a long time. It's that specific paranoia, You see a photo on Instagram of your friends at dinner and you weren't invited and your brain just breaks. You spiral into this whole narrative that everyone hates you.
It's a visceral fear. It's primal. And for Jennie, it got dark fast. She describes a nightmare she had that same night. In the dream, she walks into a room, and all her closest friends are there.
Okay.
But they aren't happy to see her. They're huddled together, whispering. They're gossiping about her. They're stabbing her in the back.
That is high school. That is a straight-up high school nightmare.
It is. But here's the kicker in the dream. She's holding the galleys of her new book, the book about how close they all are.
Oh, God. The fraud factor.
Exactly. It's the ultimate imposter syndrome. The dream is screaming. You are a fraud. You are writing about connection, but you are isolated.
And I think that's why we need to talk about this today, because she feels that if the person with the bestseller and the conferences and the squad feels that, what chance do the rest of us have?
Well, that's exactly the question. And to answer it, we have to zoom way, way out. Because Jennie's panic attack wasn't just about her mental state. It was a symptom of something much bigger. We're looking at some data here that suggests this is a cultural epidemic. This isn't just Jennie. It's everyone.
You have a number here that actually made me stop reading for a second.
The 3 in 5.
3 in 5 Americans.
Yeah, 3 in 5 Americans report feeling lonely every single day.
That is, look around the office, look around the grocery store. That is more than half the people you see. It's staggering.
And we need to clarify what lonely means here. We aren't just talking about, I wish I had a date for Saturday night. We are talking about chronic isolation, the kind of loneliness that changes your biology.
I've seen the headlines comparing it to smoking. Is that real science or just clickbait? Because, everything is the new smoking these days.
It is very real. The Surgeon General has weighed in on this. The mortality risk of chronic loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
15.
15. It's worse than obesity. It's worse than physical inactivity. Our bodies physically break down when we are isolated.
So we are literally dying of independence.
We are dying of independence. And that brings us to the mission of this deep dive. We are going to try to figure out how we got here, and more importantly, how the hell we get out.
Yeah.
Because Jennie Allen argues that we have bought a lie. We've bought a lie that says success means not needing anyone.
The self-made man.
Right, the self-made man. The independent woman, we wear it like a badge of honor. I don't need help. I've got this. And Allen is saying, no, you don't got this. You were never meant to got this alone.
But see, that's the hard part. Because I like my independence. I like being able to order Thai food and watch Netflix without consulting a committee.
Me too.
I like my space. So if the solution is give up your privacy, I think a lot of listeners are going to tune out.
And that is a fair pushback. We aren't saying you have to join a commune, but we are saying that your biology is at war with your lifestyle. So if we're going to dismantle this lie, we need to look at the history. Because I think we assume that life has always been this way. You know, you live in your house, I live in my house, we text sometimes. That's just life.
Right. It feels normal.
It feels normal to us.
Huh.
But if you look at the timeline of human history, it is a freak anomaly. Allen uses this visual in the book that I found so helpful to visualize this.
The 5-foot chart.
Right. Imagine a timeline of human history that is 5 feet long.
Yeah.
Stretching from the dawn of humanity to right now. 5 feet.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
The way we live currently, the Western, industrialized, garage door shut, Amazon delivery lifestyle, is represented by a tiny blue wedge at the very bottom of that chart.
How tiny?
It is maybe 4 inches long.
4 inches out of 5 feet. So for the other 4 feet and 8 inches.
We lived in villages.
Define village, though. Because I think I picture like a cute little English town with a pub where everyone is jolly.
No. Think tribal. Think survival. For 99% of human history, you didn't have a choice about who you hung out with. You were born into a group of 50 to 150 people. You hunted with them. You cooked with them. You raised kids with them. You literally slept in piles for warmth.
And you probably hated some of them.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely hated some of them. Someone chewed too loud. Someone smelled bad. Someone was bossy. But, and this is key, you couldn't leave.
Right.
There was no unfollowing. There was no moving to the city to find yourself. You were stuck. And because you were stuck, you were known.
There were no locks on the doors.
There were no doors. Privacy is a modern invention. Loneliness is a modern invention. In the village, you might be annoyed, you might be exhausted, but you were never, ever alone.
So what happened? How did we go from that to this? To me, sitting in my apartment ordering groceries on an app and avoiding eye contact with my neighbors.
Well, we got rich.
Yeah.
And we got efficient. The Industrial Revolution happens, and suddenly we don't need the village to survive. We have jobs, we have money, we can buy our own food, we traded community for efficiency.
We traded the tribe for the toaster.
That is literally the example. There is this fascinating bit of history about the nuclear family. You know, mom, dad, 2 kids, white picket fence.
Yeah, the American dream. The ultimate goal.
It turns out that wasn't just a cultural shift. It was a marketing strategy.
Wait, really? Who's marketing?
In the 1920s, advertisers realized something. If you have a multi-generational home, grandma, parents, cousins all living together, how many toasters do they need?
1.
1 toaster, 1 vacuum, 1 washing machine. But if you can convince them that success means breaking apart, if you can get the parents to move to the suburbs and the grandma to a home and the cousins to their own apartments,
Yeah.
suddenly you need 5 coasters.
Oh, that is cynical. That is dark.
It's capitalism. We optimized our society for consumption, not connection. We bought the lie that independence equals success.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying I want to give up my air conditioning or my privacy. I love my privacy.
I was going to say I don't want to live in a hut with my cousins. I really don't.
And that's the tension. We are richer, safer, and more comfortable than any humans in the history of the species. But we are miserable. We have optimized our lives for isolation. We have temperature-controlled homes. We have endless entertainment. But we are popping antidepressants at record rates.
Allen shares some stories in the book that really highlight this contrast. And I want to talk about the Italy story, because this one, I could feel the awkwardness radiating off the page.
Oh, the grocery store story. Yes, this is a perfect example of what we've lost.
So she's in Italy with her husband, right?
Right, and this isn't Rome or Florence. This is a tiny, non-touristy village. And they need groceries. So they walk into this little market.
And immediately, the vibe is off.
Completely off. They walk in, and there are 4 old men just leaning against the counter, smoking, deep in conversation. And the moment the door opens, silence.
The record scratch moment.
Total record scratch. And one of the men turns to them, looks them up and down, and literally asks, "Who are you?"
See, in America, that is fighting words. If someone asks me, "Who are you?" in a Kroger, I'm calling the manager, or I'm running away.
Exactly. In the U.S., the goal of a grocery run is invisibility. Head down, AirPods in, self-checkout. If I have to make eye contact with a human, I have failed.
Please do not perceive me. That is the motto.
But in the village, the interaction is the point. So Jen and her husband get their stuff, they leave, they're feeling awkward. But later, they're cooking dinner, and she has this realization. She says to her husband, "Can you imagine if we lived here? A grocery run would take 2 hours.
Because you'd have to talk to the smoking guys?
You'd have to talk to the smoking guys, you'd have to ask about the butcher's daughter, you'd have to wave to the neighbor. It is incredibly inefficient.
But it's rich.
It's relationally rich. And that's the trade-off we've made. We chose speed. They chose depth. In the West, we prioritize speed. We want to get in and out. In the village, being together is the entire point of the activity.
There's another story, a heavier one, from Uganda. And this one really struck me because it challenges our idea of what happiness looks like.
This is the refugee camp story.
Yeah. So she's visiting a camp. These are people who have lost everything. War, displacement, poverty. I mean, objectively, their lives are incredibly hard. And she goes to a church service in a hut.
And she's expecting it to be somber, right? She's expecting silence or despair. But she walks in, and the air is just vibrating.
She describes it as kinetic.
Yes. 50, 60 people, moving as one, feet stomping, babies strapped to backs bouncing, big belly laughs. She said it was like a wall of energy. And she's standing there, this wealthy Western woman, realizing that they have something she doesn't.
She says, "We don't do this very well in the place I come from. We isolate, we insulate, we pretend."
That's the line, "we pretend." In the village, you suffer together, but you also celebrate together. In the West, when we are in pain, what do?
We hide.
We hide. We wait until we're presentable. We don't want to burden anyone. We put on a happy face for social media.
There's a quote from a pastor she works with there, Pastor Charles Mugisha. He sums it up in one sentence.
You do everything alone in America. We do everything together.
That's it. That's the diagnosis.
And it has consequences, real mental health consequences. There's a famous story from Brené Brown that Allen brings into this discussion. We call it the washing machine parable.
Oh, I've heard this. But remind me of the details, because it's such a perfect example of the toaster problem.
So there was a village, I believe it was in Africa, that got some development funding. The developers came in and asked the women, "What do you need? What would make your lives easier?"
Logical question.
And the women said, "Washing machines." Because obviously washing clothes by hand in the river is brutal work. It takes all day, it hurts your back, your hands are raw.
So the developers are like, great, easy fix.
They buy the machines. Every home gets a shiny new washing machine. Problem solved. Except, almost immediately, the depression rates among the women in the village skyrocketed.
Because they stopped going to the river.
Exactly. The river wasn't just a laundromat. It was the village center. It was where the women gathered every single day. It was where they complained about their husbands. It was where they laughed. It was where they processed their trauma. It was their therapy group.
And the washing machine took that away.
They got efficiency. They got clean clothes in 30 minutes inside their own homes. But they lost the gathering. They lost the context for their lives.
Convenience costs connection.
That is the bumper sticker for this entire episode. Convenience costs connection. Every time we buy a device or an app that allows us to do something alone, we are paying for it with a little slice of our mental health.
Okay, so I want to pause here because I can feel the listener, and honestly myself, getting a little defensive. Because it sounds like you're saying, throw away your iPhone, move to a commune, and wash your clothes in a river.
Please don't wash your clothes in a river.
Right. Like, I have a job. I have kids. I can't just simulate 14th century village life in the suburbs of Chicago. It's not practical.
It's not. And Jennie Allen isn't saying we should all become Luddites. But she is saying we have to fight against the current. If you just go with the flow of modern life, you will end up isolated. You have to intentionally build a village structure within the modern world.
Which brings us to the science of it. Because even if I wanted to build a village, my brain is tired. I can barely text my mom back. How am I supposed to manage a village?
That is the perfect segue to Robin Dunbar. Because it turns out there is a biological limit to how many friends you can actually handle. And knowing this number,
Yeah,
honestly, It saved me so much guilt.
This is the Dunbar number.
Robin Dunbar, evolutionary psychologist from Oxford. He studied primate brains in human social groups. And he found a hard ceiling on the number of meaningful relationships a human brain can manage.
Hit me with the numbers.
The big number is 150.
150, that's the max.
That is the absolute max for your clan. These are people you would invite to a large wedding. If you saw them at an airport, you'd stop and say hi. You know who they are, you know their context. The size of our neocortex literally limits us to this. We can't track the emotional data for more than 150 people.
Okay, 150 seems manageable. I probably have that many Facebook friends from high school I don't talk to.
Right, but those don't count if you aren't interacting. But here's where it gets interesting. Dunbar breaks this 150 down into concentric circles, a funnel.
Walk us down the funnel.
So inside the 150, you have a circle of about 50. These are acquaintances. You see them regularly, maybe colleagues or the other parents on the soccer team. You chat, but you aren't calling them when you're sad.
Okay, got it.
Inside the 50, you have 15. This is your sympathy group, your core village. These are the people who, if you died, they would be really upset. They know what's actually happening in your life.
15 still sounds like a lot of people to keep up with, to be honest.
It is. But then you get to the bullseye, the center. Dunbar says this is only 2 to 5 people.
2 to 5.
That's it. These are the ride or die friends, the ones who know your deepest, darkest secrets, the ones you can call at 3 a.m.
You know, when I read that, I felt this massive wave of relief. Because I think, largely due to social media, we have this pressure to have a squad. We see Taylor Swift with her 40 best friends, and we think, I'm a loser because I only have 2 people I really trust.
Exactly. We are trying to defy our own biology.
Yeah.
We want 50 best friends. But your brain literally cannot compute the emotional data for that many people. You're supposed to only have 2 to 5.
So if I have 3 close friends, I'm winning.
You are crushing it. You are winning at evolution.
But here is the catch, and this is the part that tripped me up. You can't just go out and headhunt the 2 to 5, can you?
No. And this is the mistake we all make.
Yeah.
We go on a friend date, which is awkward as hell, and we sit there across the latte and think, are you my soulmate? Are you my 3 a.m. call?
It's like The Bachelor for friendship. Will you accept this rose?
It is.
Yeah.
And it puts so much pressure on the relationship. But historically, the inner circle emerges from the village. You need the pool of 50 or 150 to draw from. You find your best friends by doing life in the village and seeing who sticks.
So we're trying to skip the funnel. We want the result without the process.
Exactly. We want the intimacy without the proximity. And biologically, we need all those layers. Allen brings in a neuro buddy of hers, Kurt Thompson, to explain why.
The scene-soothed, safe concept.
Right. Thompson says that from the time we are infants until we are 90, our nervous system has 3 core requirements to stay regulated. We need to be seen, soothed, and safe.
Break us down for me.
Seen means someone understands what you are feeling. Soothed means someone helps you manage that feeling, basically co-regulation. And safe means you know they aren't going to hurt you or leave you.
And if we don't have that...
If we don't have that, our bodies go into distress, we release cortisol, we panic. That's why Jennie had the attack in the closet. Her body was signaling, you are alone, therefore you are not safe.
It's a survival mechanism. Being alone in the wild meant death.
Exactly. Your body doesn't know you're in a secure house with a security system. Your body thinks, no tribe, a lion is going to eat me.
Okay, so we've established the problem. We are lonely, we are fighting our biology, and we are missing the village. But the million-dollar question is, how do we build it? Because I can't force my neighbors to hang out with me.
Well, you sort of can.
That sounds aggressive.
It's intentional. Allen identifies 5 specific patterns or habits that create this village. And I love these because they are actionable. They are proximity, transparency, accountability, shared purpose, and consistency.
I want to go through these one by one, and I want to get really practical here. Let's start with the first one. Proximity. She calls this the fire.
The fire.
Yeah.
Think about the campfire. For most of history, the fire was the center of life. You didn't schedule a Google Calendar invite to meet at the fire. You just went there.
And people were there.
And people were there. Proximity just means being physically near people. But the barrier today is that we are too busy to just be.
There is a statistic here that is, frankly, depressing. The 200-hour rule.
Oh, this one hurts. Researchers at the University of Kansas found that it takes roughly 200 hours of face-to-face time to turn a stranger into a close friend.
200 hours.
Just do the math. If you meet a friend for coffee for 1 hour, once a month.
That's 12 hours a year.
It will take you nearly 17 years to become close friends at that pace.
Oh my God, that explains why making friends as an adult feels impossible. In college, you live in the dorms. You clock 200 hours in a month.
Exactly. That's why your college friends are so sticky. You had proximity. As adults, we rely on the appointment model of friendship, and it's mathematically doomed to fail. It's too slow.
So how do we hack this? Because I don't have 200 hours of free time. I have a job. I have responsibilities.
You have to overlap. You have to do things you were going to do anyway, but do them with people.
Give me an example.
Jennie talks about the front yard experiment. They realized their backyard was too private. The fence was too high. So they bought a fire pit and cheap Adirondack chairs and put them in the front yard.
Which feels exposed.
It feels totally exposed. But they just started sitting there. And neighbors started walking by. And they'd say, "Hey, want a beer?"
And did it work?
It worked. It created a gathering spot.
Yeah.
And she makes this crucial distinction between hosting and gathering. This changed my life, honestly.
What's the difference? Because hosting gives me hives.
Hosting is a performance. It's about you. Is my house clean? Is the food gourmet? Do I have the right playlist? Do I have fresh flowers? It's stressful. It's Martha Stewart energy.
Yes. It's about impressing people.
Gathering is just opening the door. It's saying, "I'm ordering pizza, come over. My house is a mess, come over anyway." It's dropping the mask.
She talks about running errands together, too, like going to Costco.
If you have to go to Costco,
Yeah.
take a friend. You're going to be there for 2 hours anyway. You just clocked 2 hours of proximity. You're building the village in the frozen food aisle.
I love that. It takes the pressure off. You don't have to entertain them. You just have to be with them.
Exactly.
Okay, moving to the second pattern, and this is the one that makes me sweat. Transparency. Open doors.
This is the scary one, because proximity is just logistics. Transparency is emotional risk.
The barrier here is shame.
It's shame. It's the fear that if you really knew me, if you saw my mess, my anxiety, my fights with my spouse, you wouldn't like me. So we hide. We curate.
She has this concept of the mid-cry call.
Wow.
And I read this and thought, I could never.
Tell us about the mid-cry call.
So most of us call our friends after the crisis, right? We have the breakdown, we cry, we wash our face, we get a glass of wine, and then we call and say, "So I had a really hard week."
We present the edited version, the Instagram version of our trauma.
But the mid-cry call is calling when you are literally on the floor, when you are sobbing so hard you can't speak.
It's the ultimate vulnerability.
Yeah.
And Jennie tells the story of her friend Lindsay calling her like this, and Jennie admits her first reaction was discomfort.
Because it's messy. We don't know how to fix it.
Right. But then she realized, Lindsay calling me makes me feel trusted. Think about that. When someone needs you, do you feel burdened or do you feel honored?
I feel honored. I feel like, wow, I made the cut. You trust me with this.
Exactly. But we deny our friends that same feeling because we are too proud to be needy. We think we're being low maintenance, but really we're just being distant.
That is a gut punch. We are too proud to be needy.
Vulnerability is the soil for intimacy. You cannot be loved if you are not known. If you build walls to keep the pain out, you also keep the love out.
So how do we start? Do I just call my coworker and start crying?
Please don't do that. You need the safe list. You vet people. But for the people in your inner circle, you have to stop answering fine when they ask how you are.
Allen suggests asking better questions too.
Yes. Instead of how are you,
Mm.
ask, what are you longing for right now? Or what is making you anxious this week?
Those are dangerous questions.
They are. But they cut through the small talk. You can't answer fine to, what are you longing for?
Okay, let's go to the third pattern. And if transparency was scary, this one is actually offensive. Accountability. She calls it the anvil.
The anvil. Iron sharpens iron.
In 2026, this feels almost illegal. The idea that a friend has the right to correct me, to tell me I'm wrong.
It's countercultural. In the West, we view correction as an attack. If you tell me I'm being selfish, I'm going to say you're toxic and I'm going to block you.
We want mirror friends.
Mirror friend. Just reflect back what we want to see. You're right, girl. He's a jerk. You deserve that. It feels good. It's validating. But it keeps us stuck.
She tells this incredible story about a friend named Jay from Nairobi, and his perspective on this blew my mind.
Jay puts it perfectly. He grew up in a village culture. He says if he was acting out as a kid, any elder in the village would grab him by the collar and set him straight.
And he couldn't run home to mom and complain.
No, because mom would side with the elder. He says, in America, you view correction as an offense. We view it as love.
We view it as love because if you didn't care, you'd let me destroy myself.
Exactly. A friend who lets you drive off a cliff isn't a friend. They're an accomplice.
There's another story about her son, Cooper, in Rwanda.
This is such a tender moment.
Hmm.
Cooper was being rowdy, acting out, and Pastor Fred, this Rwandan leader, corrected him sternly. Now, Jenny's American instinct was probably to jump in and defend her kid. Don't talk to my son like that.
The mama bear instinct.
But she watched. And instead of being resentful, Cooper later fell asleep with his head on Pastor Fred's shoulder.
That image, sleeping on the shoulder of the man who just scolded you.
Because correction created safety, Cooper knew. This man is strong enough to stop me. He cares enough to stop me.
So how do we do this? Because if I start criticizing my friends, I'm going to have zero friends.
You have to invite it. You have to hand them the knife and say, please sharpen me. You ask, what is an area I need to grow in? Do you see any blind spots in my life?
That is terrifying, but I can see how it would deepen the bond immediately. Okay, pattern number 4. Shared purpose. The shovel.
The shovel represents working together. A mission.
The barrier here is shallow connection, just hanging out.
We often think friendship is face-to-face. Sitting at a coffee shop, staring at each other, talking. But the strongest bonds are actually formed shoulder to shoulder, looking at a common goal.
She talks about the team at IF Gathering, her organization, or the Dude Ranch where her sister works.
Right. At the Dude Ranch, they are mucking stalls, fixing fences, sweating, getting dirt under their fingernails. That shared struggle creates a bond that is unbreakable.
It goes back to that Genesis idea, right? We were built to subdue the earth together. We are designed to work.
We are. And when we don't have a shared mission, our friendships often devolve into just entertainment or gossip. But if we are building a garden together or running a fundraiser or volunteering at a shelter or even just painting a room, the focus shifts from do I like you to we did this.
So stop just getting coffee. Go build something.
Exactly. Find a shovel.
And finally, the 5th pattern, consistency. The table.
The table represents showing up repeatedly, the daily, weekly rhythm.
And the barrier here is conflict, because if you show up enough, eventually you're going to annoy each other.
It is inevitable, and this is where the cannibal comment comes in.
I love this quote. It's her brother-in-law, Tony.
Jenny is romanticizing village life, saying how great it is. And Tony, who runs that dude ranch and actually lives in a sort of village community, says, Jenny, village life is great until you realize you're surrounded by cannibals.
Meaning, people will eat you alive.
Meaning, people are messy, they are annoying, they are selfish, they steal your food, they say the wrong thing.
And this is where most of us bail. We hit the first snag, the first conflict, and we say, oh, this isn't my vibe, I'm out. We ghost.
We treat friends like disposable consumer goods. If it's broken, get a new one. But Allen argues that conflict is actually the glue.
Conflict is glue. That seems contradictory.
If, and this is big if, you stay and resolve it.
She tells the story of her fight with her sister-in-law, Ashley.
It was a brutal conversation.
Yeah.
Ashley told her, Jenny, you have a hard heart right now.
Ouch. That is an anvil moment.
And Jenny had a choice. She could defend herself, attack back, or just withdraw and never talk to Ashley again. That's the modern way. Toxic.
Yeah.
Blocked.
But she stayed.
She stayed. She listened. She apologized. And she says that relationship is stronger now because of the conflict, not in spite of it, because they survived it.
She brings up the Benedictine monks here, the vow of stability.
Yes, monks don't just vow poverty and chastity, they vow stability. They vow to stay in this monastery with these brothers for life. They don't get to transfer when Brother John starts chewing too loudly or gets annoying. They have to work it out.
That idea of a vow of stability for friendship, I am not going anywhere. That is powerful.
It is the foundation of safety. You can't be vulnerable, transparency, or receive correction, accountability, if you think the person's going to leave the moment things get hard.
It all comes down to inconvenience, doesn't it? Real friendship is inconvenient. It's driving to the airport. It's helping move a couch. It's showing up when you're tired.
And we have made convenience our God. But convenience is the enemy of community. You have to choose. Do you want to be comfortable and alone, or inconvenienced and loved?
Wow. Okay, so those are the 5 patterns. Proximity, transparency, accountability, shared purpose, consistency. But there's another layer to this book that I found fascinating, the anthropological side. She talks about fictive kinship.
Yes. This is a fancy term for chosen family. And it's crucial because many of us don't have biological families that play this role. Maybe they are toxic. Maybe you live far away. Maybe they've passed on.
So fictive kinship is creating that family bond with people who aren't related to you.
Allen gives examples like the Moais in Okinawa.
The Okinawans live forever, right?
They are a blue zone, yes.
Yeah.
And one secret is the Moai. When a child is born, they are placed in a group of 5 children. And that group is their Moai for life.
For life.
For life. They grow up together, they support each other financially, they help raise each other's kids, they grow old together. It is an arranged support system. If your crop fails, the Moai covers you. If your spouse dies, the Moai is there.
That sounds incredible. And then there's Compadrazgo in Mexico.
Which is a system of co-parenting. It's not just godparents in name. It's a web of adults responsible for the child. It's a formal structure of support.
Allen argues that for us, the church, ideally, should be this.
Ideally. She's honest that the church is often full of broken sinners, the cannibals again. But structurally, the local church is designed to be a fictive kinship network, a place where you practice the one another's of Scripture. Love one another, forgive one another, bear one another's burdens.
It's the place where you find the people to do the 5 patterns with.
Exactly. It's a pre-built village structure if you use it that way.
So we're coming to the end here, and I want to get practical. Allen doesn't just leave us with theory. She has a challenge, the 5-week experiment.
This is the kick in the pants we need. Because knowledge isn't enough. We need action. The challenge is essentially stop waiting to be invited.
Step 1, identify potential friends.
And look at who is already there. This is the proximity piece. Don't look for the perfect person on the internet. Look at your neighbor. Look at the coworker 3 desks down. Look at the other mom at the bus stop who is physically near you.
Step 2, initiate.
Be the one to text first. Be the one to say, hey, want to grab pizza?
Yeah.
Risks the awkwardness.
Step 3, risk awkwardness.
It will be awkward. Accept it. Push through it. The awkwardness is the toll you pay for connection.
And step 4, set ground rules.
This is the accountability piece. Eventually you say, hey, I want to do life differently. I want a village. Can we try to be real with each other? Can we agree not to gossip?
It sounds scary, but the alternative is that statistic we started with. 3 in 5 people lonely, dying of independence.
And that leads to the final provocative thought I want to leave listeners with. It's the funeral test.
Oh, this hits hard.
Allen asks us to think about our funeral. Who will be there?
It won't be your Instagram followers.
It won't be the people you impressed with your clean house. It won't be the people you had shallow networking coffee dates with. It will be the people you were inconvenienced for, the people you let see you cry, the people you built a fire with, shared a shovel with, and sat at the table with over and over again.
The people who stayed.
The people who stayed.
So here's our call to action for you today. Don't try to find 5 best friends by tomorrow. That's overwhelming. Just start with proximity. Notice who is physically around you today.
And be the one to text first. Send one text today. Say, I'm lonely, can we hang out? Or even just thinking of you, want to take a walk.
Trade the lonely, efficient life for a messy, loud, intrusive, beautiful village.
It's worth the work.
Go find your people. We'll see you in the next deep dive.